first track that felt impossible was Inferno 3. I would get past maybe the first or second checkpoint, and then I would get up to that 3-level climb where you're going to go from timber piece to timber piece to timber piece.
The one track that really made me hit a wall, skill-wise, was Inferno on Trials HD.
There were a few tracks that I thought were really difficult, but impossible? Inferno 2, absolutely. There was those wooden pallets, there's like 2 of them on an angle. And for me, there was nothing I could do to get the bike to stick to these things. I just kept falling backwards every single time I tried.
So the first track that I felt was impossible was Out of the Pit on Trials Evolution. Right near the end where you had to do 3 hill climbs, somewhat hill climbs in succession, and I just couldn't maintain the angle and kept slipping off.
The first track in that game that I really thought was impossible was the Rep. Specifically, the problem was there's one where you have to transition to an uphill bit, and then there's like a barrel at the top, and I just could not for the life of me figure out how to transition over that barrel.
One of the first tracks to really give me a problem and have a checkpoint that seemed impossible was the track Rocky Road. First time you really required a bunny hop. I didn't know how to bunny hop. Up to then, I'd just been driving over stuff.
The first track I felt was impossible to pass would have to be Inferno 1 on Trials 2 2nd Edition, because you drop down from above the ground where you have to jump on a beam to then get a jump over barrels in order to even get to the first checkpoint.
I just did a lot of timeouts on, for example, the wreck, of course, Inferno 3.
The first track I played that felt impossible would have been one of the extreme tracks in Trials HD. I don't remember which one, but probably all of them, quite frankly.
The first time I came across a track that I thought was impossible was Beginning of a Ninja, which is a custom track made by the Governor. The track starts out with a wall that is nearly vertical, and it looked impossible to climb it.
For me, it's a really Inferno 4. This huge ramp. You need to climb, do a big bunny hop to reach this obstacle. It's really just impossible, and game over.
First track that I couldn't pass was probably Inferno 4 or Way of the Machine. And the way I did was looking at Professor FatShady's detailed tutorials, and without him I can honestly say that it would have taken me a lot more time to pass them. But he taught me the basics, and then I got from there.
When I struggled in the past, it was all about persistence. You just have to remind yourself, just keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back. And gradually, things will just become easier and easier through that repetition.
Late last year, I was doing a 24-hour stream. And in that 24-hour stream, FatShady showed up. He basically put some inspiration there to want to get better at Trials. And then from there, through blood, sweat, tears and grinding, I got to a point where I can say that I've platinumed the whole track, including Inferno 4.
I ended up just watching the top replays. I went ahead and just went into the leaderboards and just did number 1, 2, 3. I just watched the best of the best, play the track. It really helped out tremendously watching the good players, the ones that know what they're doing, and then trying to do what they do. Second thing was actually building tracks. It basically forces you to replay your obstacles over and over again until you get it right. But in doing so, you kind of develop some muscle memory for certain obstacles.
So I made my friends suffer in multiplayer with me, playing tracks, and eventually we played out of the pit. And because I need to be better than them, I forced myself to make sure I could get through it.
I went back to start with the tutorial tracks, try and improve my skills on there. Then did it with easy, medium, and once I hit the very first hard track, I decided to give Inferno another go. Then after a while, I managed to complete the very first checkpoint, and after that, I just decided to try and go through the whole track, and I managed to do so.
Is try to find some rivals or friends to play with, because that will motivate you a lot.
I eventually overcame that obstacle by looking at other people's replays of the track and trying to copy what they do. And eventually I managed to learn the slow climb, the difficult throttle control.
I should also point out too, there's these really good tutorials on YouTube, but I can't for the life of me. I mean, I can't think of the channel name right now. So someone else might suggest some other ones, but I think there might be some online.